Could the Anaheim Ducks be a possible playoff team in 2025-26? The Anaheim Ducks made some additions to their lineup that were a little bit controversial, especially like the Chris Kreider trade and the Trevor Zegras trade were not looked at to be great from an outsider's perspective. But for the Anaheim Ducks, I think the moves they made might actually be better for the team than it were to keep the players they had or not make the trade. First and foremost, they acquired Chris Kreider from the Rangers and was a very weird deal, no salary retained. They just did Chris Drury a favor. I think Kreider can be a good veteran presence on a young Anaheim Ducks team. He adds to guys like Killorn who help out with the depth as well. And I think, to be honest, if he can even score like 25 goals, I think that's fine. He got buried in New York. They said goodbye to Trevor Zegras and brought in Ryan Poehling, and they also signed Mikael Granlund to a 3-year, $7 million contract as well, which makes their center core looking like Leo Carlsson, Mason McTavish, and then Granlund and Poehling as their 4 centers. I think Granlund got paid a lot more money than he should have as a third-line center, but again, it wasn't that good of a market. I feel like they lost out on Marner. They really didn't have a choice, so they went with Granlund there as their third-line center. Not that Marner would be their third-line center, but you get what I'm saying. And then I think Poehling, too, is going to be a good fourth-liner. I got to be honest, I feel like a guy like Poehling in his role would be more useful than a guy like Trevor Zegras in like a third-line center role. Just being honest. And then they also traded away John Gibson to bring in Peter Mrazek as the backup. Honestly, I think Mrazek's going to be a good backup. I think, again, like having Gibson there with Dostal, with the money he was being paid, I just don't think it was worth it for a playoff team. Why have 2 starters when you can only start 1? I think, again, the expectation for the Anaheim Ducks is to make the Stanley Cup playoffs next year. Pat Verbeek said the same thing. They hired Joel Quenneville as the brand new head coach. While it was controversial, Quenneville has shown in previous teams before that he can turn them around and make them very successful. Exhibit A, Chicago. Exhibit B, Florida. I think, again, it's actually a good hiring for Anaheim in terms of just like a managerial perspective. Again, I know there were some upset people about it, but overall, I like it a lot. Team really improved under Greg Cronin, who was awful. I think getting Quenneville in there along the ads they did, I think there's a pretty good chance Anaheim breaks into the playoffs this year. Let me know your thoughts down below.